It smells incredible.
Here, try this piece. It's perfectly cooked. Oh.
It's delicious. You're a great chef.
What if true happiness isn't found in luxury, but in the simplest moments of love and devotion? Linda, carrying a heavy, pregnant belly, still works every day at the farm beside Quang, where each sunrise is filled with care, laughter, and quiet sacrifice. From their gentle morning routines to joyful labor under the warm sun, and finally to peaceful evenings wrapped in hope, this is a story of unconditional love, patience, and family dreams. If you believe in real love and peaceful happiness, don't forget to subscribe. And now, let's step into their beautiful journey. Linda's belly had grown round and full, a gentle reminder with every step that new life was blossoming inside her. Yet every morning, just as the first rays of sunlight stretched across the quiet fields, she was already awake beside Quang, preparing for another day at the farm. The soft light brushed over her face as she tied her hair back, her movements slower than before, but filled with the same quiet determination. Wrapped in her familiar straw hat and loose cotton dress, she looked radiant in a way that no exhaustion could ever dim. The air was cool and fragrant with dew, and the world around them slowly awakened to the sound of roosters crowing and leaves whispering in the early breeze. Quang never let her walk alone. His hand was always there, ready to steady her, ready to guide her steps across the uneven ground. He moved with a careful kind of strength now, no longer rushing ahead as he once had, but matching his pace to hers. Together they made their way through the farm like a gentle rhythm, he carrying the heavier loads, she tending to smaller tasks with quiet joy. Linda scattered feed for the chickens, her laughter soft as the birds gathered eagerly around her feet. She bent slightly to check the water troughs while Quang watched closely, always prepared to rush forward if she swayed. Their path continued past rows of tender green vegetables, still wet with morning dew, each leaf shimmering like it carried a secret blessing. There was no urgency between them, only calm and shared purpose. Work on the farm had become less about labor and more about living side by side in harmony. Every small action felt meaningful. The careful way Quang wiped the dust from Linda's hands, the tender way she rested for a moment against his shoulder, the brief smiles they exchanged without needing words. To anyone watching from afar, it was clear that this was not simply a couple working. It was two souls moving together through a life they had chosen with love. As the sun slowly climbed higher, painting the sky with soft gold, Linda paused for a breath, her hand instinctively resting on her belly. Quang knelt beside her, his palm covering hers, and for a fleeting moment, the entire world seemed to slow. Within that quiet second, the future felt near, warm, and certain. Though life had given them many challenges, this morning, simple, gentle, and full of light, was proof that happiness could be found in the humblest moments, shared between two hearts and the tiny life growing between them. As the morning unfolded, the farm slowly filled with sunlight and soft, cheerful sounds. The chickens clucked noisily as Linda gathered fresh eggs into her basket, each gentle movement guided by Quang's steady presence beside her. Though everyone who visited the farm urged her to rest more, Linda's smile never faded as she answered that being active made her feel lighthearted and alive. There was something deeply comforting about moving with the rhythm of the land, about feeling useful, about sharing every simple task with the man she loved. She believed that the joy she carried in her heart would also reach the little soul growing quietly inside her. Quang, meanwhile, had learned to read even the smallest changes in her breathing, the slightest slowdown in her steps. Without a word, he placed a stool near the barn whenever she lingered too long on her feet. He brought her water before she realized she was thirsty, wiped the sweat from her brow with a tenderness that made her laugh softly, and teased her gently whenever she tried to lift more than she should. His protectiveness was not heavy or anxious. It was soft, playful, and born entirely from love. Their laughter often drifted across the fields, light and unforced, carried by the breeze like a song of quiet happiness. After tending the animals, they moved together toward the vegetable garden. Linda knelt carefully on a thick mat Quang had prepared for her, her hands brushing over the cool soil as she checked the young plants. She spoke to them in a gentle voice, as though the tender leaves could hear her encouragement. Quang stood nearby, fixing the wooden fence, yet his gaze returned to her again and again, filled with the quiet pride that words could never fully capture. In those moments, the future felt vivid and close, like a promise, rooted in the earth beneath their feet. By late morning, the sun was warm on their skin, and the scent of grass and hay mingled with the distant aroma of lunch cooking in the farmhouse. They took a short rest beneath the old mango tree at the edge of the field. Linda leaned back against Quang's chest, his arms loosely wrapped around her as they shared slices of fresh fruit and simple dreams of tomorrow. They spoke of their child with laughter in their voices, of tiny hands, first steps, and sleepy smiles. There was no rush, no fear, only a gentle, joyful certainty that whatever awaited them ahead, they would walk toward it together. As afternoon drifted gently into evening, the golden light of sunset spread across the farm like a soft blanket of warmth. The day's work had slowed, and the air now carried a tender calm that only came after long hours of meaningful labor. Linda walked slowly beside Quang along the narrow path between the fields, her steps unhurried, her hand resting instinctively on her belly. Each breath she took felt deeper, fuller, as though the peaceful rhythm of the land had settled into her bones. Quang matched her pace, his fingers loosely entwined with hers, as if afraid to let even a single moment slip away unnoticed. They stopped where the grass met the open sky, where the horizon glowed in quiet shades of amber and rose. Linda leaned gently against Quang's shoulder, her head finding its familiar place as the baby inside her stirred softly. She smiled, closing her eyes for a moment, letting the movement become part of her heartbeat. Quang felt it too, beneath his palm, when she guided his hand to her stomach. And in that instant, his breath caught. No words were needed. The connection between them and the tiny life they awaited was deeper than anything language could hold. It was a silent promise, warm and alive between their hands. The distant sounds of the farm faded into a gentle hum, cicadas calling from the trees, the low murmur of cattle settling in for the night, the wind brushing softly through tall grass. Time seemed to stretch and soften around them. Thoughts of the past, with all its struggles and uncertainties, drifted quietly away. What remained was only this moment. Two hearts steady and full, standing at the edge of a simple, shared dream. Slowly, as twilight deepened, they returned to their farmhouse, where soft lamplight spilled through open windows and the scent of a modest dinner filled the air. Linda moved with careful ease as Quang pulled out a chair for her, their familiar gestures flowing like a well-practiced dance. Over warm soup and gentle conversation, they spoke not of worry, but of hope, of names they loved, of lullabies yet to be sung, of mornings that would soon be filled with a newborn's cry and laughter. Later, under a sky dusted with quiet stars, they lay side by side, the day's serenity still lingering between them. Linda felt the baby stir once more beneath her palm, stronger this time, as if answering the love that surrounded it. Quang kissed her forehead softly and whispered a promise to the night that he would protect this family, this peace, with everything he had. And as sleep finally claimed them, their hearts rested in the certainty that happiness, in its truest form, had already begun.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Lý Tử Ninda Review. Vậy là câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay đã kết thúc tại đây. Trong câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay thì Quang và Ninda đã có những ngày tháng mang thai bé Sophia, sống cuộc sống đời thường bên nông trại rất là hạnh phúc và vui vẻ. Mọi câu chuyện hấp dẫn về Quang, Ninda cũng như Sophia và mẹ của Quang còn được kể các video tiếp theo. Các bạn đừng quên bấm vào nút subscribe để đăng ký kênh sẽ nhận được thông báo mới nhất về các tập phim sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh nha. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.